I was on Facebook the other day in a group that I would say is less about reselling and more about just collectors. And one of the things that we're talking about was relacing sneakers. And since I've been doing this, I've noticed that people might change the color, if they come with two different colors or whatever it is. Then I'm hearing about people relacing them a special way. I've definitely seen that, but for me personally, the way laces are stock, that's just how I've always liked it. For the most part, sometimes I don't even undo them. It's already in that little, pre-manufactured knot. I just put that behind the tongue and I'm done. But it was around the topic of the Huaraches, and people were like, oh, do you lace it this way, and I'm like, I just keep my shit stock. And people were like, mind blown. Don't get me wrong, back in the day, obviously with your Pumas, your shell toes, people used to put real fat laces in them. That's about the amount of relacing that I've sort of witnessed. In terms of relacing them a special way, not really. But I figure let's relace a couple joints right now, see if we can get a bit more life out of them. Hey, so today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You already heard in the intro, we're going to be relacing some joints. Now, I'm not a stranger to relacing joints. These ones here came with some really corny white laces, and I just thought the mint joints would do a lot better. I got these from Hype, but in terms of it being a regular thing, this was like one of the only ones I ever done. The other one that I did was these joints we mentioned before. I just gave them that white. They did have this, obviously cactus, this lime, but I think they look better with the white, to be fair. Just tones them down that little bit. So I had a couple of ideas what to do with these, but I'm not sure yet. I thought about maybe putting them on here, a bit more green to the Air Max 90s. Might go alright. Maybe the black with the contrast is alright, so maybe I might use these for something else. But what I will be doing is these UNC lows. I ain't even worn these yet. I just feel like, I don't know, they're not quite right. So I do have some laces from my University 1 highs, and we're going to chuck them on here, man. Now generally what I do is I'll do one and kind of look at the other shoe. I don't go into any sort of wild relacing type stees. I want to try and keep it as it is, to be honest, because that's for me what I feel looks the best. But other people have different opinions, they do different styles, designs, everything like that. So we're going to do this one right here, and I may speed a little bit of this up because it's probably not going to be the most interesting thing, yeah? Some people might think it's sacrilege to be chucking these joints on some lows because they're the laces from, the retro highs, but for me, shoe's a shoe. If I like it, if I can make it that little bit better, why not? These are dead stock, haven't worn them. I think I thought about wearing them maybe, but I've got so many university joints that it doesn't matter too much. And these black ones, hey, we might put them in something, I'm not sure. The hardest part might be just unlacing this one. It's funny how easy it was to cop these ones here, but the recent Obsidian University colorway in the lows, impossible. These ones I just walked into my local Foot Locker and they were just sitting there. I feel like with the Obsidians it'll be the same sort of thing, but they'll probably go a little bit quicker. They look a lot better than these, but I feel like we can make these look a little bit nicer with the other laces. No lace, got the tongue happening. I didn't really notice that. Maybe I should have noticed this part here, because it's on the top, but I didn't notice it went all the way down to the bottom. Alright, so let's get this. The hardest part for me is trying to find like not even find, but to make sure that it comes in flat, because if you have a look, you know, it goes under, right? So you got to get it coming in through flat. I usually use my fingers just to sort of run it through like that, finger and thumb. You obviously want to get it even, so you got to work that out too. If you run it a bit loose, so that's still flat. If you run a bit loose in terms of putting it through, don't put it through straight away. You can work on the length properly. Straight away, but I think this is going to look a lot nicer. I'm having a look at just the one being done. It looks better, in my opinion. I did that a complete wrong way. That's about right. So they're all going under. I feel like I shouldn't fuck this up. I don't think there's anything too crazy going on here. Just got to make sure which hole goes through that part. The little lace loop on the tongue.
One hour later.
And we'll run it sort of outwards. Doesn't matter. Do that. I'll probably loosen these laces off anyway when I go to put it on feet, because me personally, I've got a bit of a wide foot. But I don't know. I just feel like that looks nicer than this, but people are going to have different opinions, and that's what sneakers are all about. Oh no. Okay. Oh, that's good. Tuck them in there. Little trick. If you've worked in retail, that's how you want them looking, like that. That's clean, man. That's clean. I personally think it looks better, especially once I've tightened them in. I think it looks a lot better.
Now the UNC lows, I'm not going to lie, I have not worn them yet because I just think there's a lot of blue going on. I think it was flipped around the other way, it'd probably look a little bit better. And even with that being said, with the UNC lace, it just gives that little bit better look to me. That's them there, still got them, that. I still haven't laced this one, but you know, you can get the comparison. I did a comparison on IG and I forgot to screenshot it, but I believe it was 50%. You know, one with this, one with this. But seeing as though they are my shoes, I'm going to go with these. I prefer that myself. Now I did try to do a bonus sort of thing, and it's been, when I've had this idea to do this episode, I had this in mind for a long time. And right as when I'm about to do it, I had a thought of maybe the laces aren't going to be long enough, because I actually got these laces from the Air Max 1s, the all green joints, and that blue and green sort of thing. I know the old thing, blue and green should never be seen, but for me, like when I used to paint, blue and green was like my favorite colorways to paint. But I thought I'd give this a go, and it looked really good. It didn't look as good as I thought it would be. I think that's more due to the fact the thickness of the lace wasn't the same sort of thing. It looked a bit thin on that shoe. But the other part of it too is it just was very, very short, as you can see here. So that's why we've just added this as a little bit extra just to show you there. I was going to kind of do, hey, we'll do this one will be a surprise, but it just didn't work. And that's okay, I guess. The fuck was that? As the world starts opening up again, hopefully, I'm definitely going to be getting out there into the world and doing a bit more rather than just standing here, yeah? Showcasing sneaker collectors, because that was what we set out with this. So long as the world calms down a little bit, we hope to do that soon-ish, I guess, hopefully, maybe. There's been another episode of Crease Teak. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Peace.